told your friend you're not okay.
Amidst the recent silence in the K-pop world, which felt like holding its breath waiting for a surprise from major idols, a powerful wave suddenly appeared without warning. Kpop's top stars were among the first to witness how the fandom world changed in a matter of seconds. A monumental moment occurred when Jungkook made his comeback, not just any ordinary comeback, but an unexpected appearance in the Calvin Klein 2026 campaign that instantly shook armies around the world. There were no teasers, no warnings, no leaked rumors. Suddenly, the photos appeared, and the internet exploded. Within minutes, social media platforms worldwide were filled with comments, hysterical screams, and expressions of disbelief from his fans. Jungkook, who had recently chosen to remain behind the scenes, returned with visuals that were not only powerful, but almost set a new standard in the world of idol fashion. The photo, featuring Jungkook in a music store filled with vinyl and vintage shelves, created an intimate atmosphere, as if transporting his fans into a space that was a part of him. The dim neon lights, the old wooden shelves holding hundreds of legendary albums, and the nostalgic atmosphere seemed to blend with his presence, adding depth to a visual that was already powerful from the start. In one photo, he stands in a pose that appears relaxed yet domineering. One foot is propped up on the shelf, his leather jacket left open, revealing a simple white tank top that further emphasizes his silhouette. His hair falls naturally to his forehead, creating an effortless look that only makes him look more deadly. There's nothing contrived, everything feels natural, yet exudes the aura of a global celebrity who knows exactly how to command the camera without even trying. The next pose conveys a different atmosphere, calmer yet more intense. Sitting on the floor of a record store, he opens the front of his jacket with a confident flourish, revealing his athletic physique, showcasing the transformation his fans have been waiting for. His face looks directly into the camera, his gaze sharp yet soft, as if he wants to convey something deeper than just a fashion campaign. This is what makes this Calvin Klein 2026 campaign feel different, a side of Jungkook that has never been fully seen before. It wasn't just about his captivating visuals, but also about the energy he radiated, as if he were carrying a silent message that only those who had followed his career could understand. This was a new era. His presence in the campaign reignited long-standing discussions about how Jungkook had evolved not only as a singer and performer, but as a global icon with a profound influence on the fashion world. Since the beginning of his collaboration with the brand, he had proven that his name and image were not just part of a trend, but rather a trendsetter. The photos didn't just go viral, they sparked a phenomenon. Within hours, armies around the world were creating detailed discussion threads about every piece of clothing, every pose, every shade of light, and even the placement of the vinyl behind him. Some analyzed how his body gestures conveyed a newfound confidence, others discussed how the music store concept might represent his musical journey. One fan even remarked, "Every photo feels like a new chapter in his life." Global media outlets began to highlight this phenomenon. International fashion magazines discussed how Jungkook's return to a major campaign was one of the fashion industry's highlights of 2026. Stylists, photographers, and fashion critics began commenting on his increasingly mature visuals and increasingly apparent star aura. But what was most powerful was the army's reaction. Many said the campaign came at the perfect time, a time when the fandom was longing for something big, something to reignite the global hype and energy of yesteryear. His arrival was like a spark in a dry field, fast, hot, and spreading everywhere. The longer the photos circulated, the more the impact became apparent. Some called it a golden comeback, others called it the new era of Jungkook, and others even wrote that this campaign was a turning point, marking a new phase in his career after a long absence from major fashion projects. And indeed, this campaign proved one thing: even though he rarely appears, when he does return, he does so in a way that shakes the world. After the first wave of campaign photos took over the internet, the fandom's atmosphere transformed like a city suddenly lit up at night. Army energy was palpable, not just enthusiasm, but a kind of euphoria they hadn't felt in a long time. Everyone seemed to understand that Jungkook's appearance wasn't just another promotional activity, it was a sign that something was moving, something was being prepared, and the world was being ushered in for the next big moment. As the photos spread, discussions that initially focused solely on the visuals and concept began to spiral into greater speculation. Many felt that Jungkook's return through such a major campaign signaled a new phase in his career. Some speculated that a music project might follow, while others sensed a global comeback vibe from his gestures and the look in his eyes. As time passed, additional photos appearing to be from the same photo shoot location began to emerge, whether from behind-the-scenes footage, editorial revisions, or subsequent official releases. And as more images emerged, it became clearer that the entire concept of the campaign wasn't just about showcasing stunning visuals. There was a story to be built, the story of someone returning from silence with a more mature, stronger version of himself, and more aware of his identity as a global artist. The simple yet characterful photo shoot location became a crucial element in the narrative that fans began to feel. The record store wasn't just a backdrop, it was a symbol of the musical and emotional journey he'd been on over the years. The vinyl covering the walls, the soft colors of the lights, and the classic atmosphere that enveloped the space created a beautiful contrast with the modern aura that Jungkook exuded. It was as if the old and the new worlds met in one frame. Every little detail in the store suddenly became subject to analysis, the album covers faintly visible behind him, the small posters attached to the shelves, even the stickers on the wooden table where he leaned, everything was studied as if they held hidden messages. For ARMY, such things weren't just a hobby, they were a form of love. Every piece of information was proof that they wanted to fully understand their idol, both visually and emotionally. And as the discussion intensified, many fans began to notice something else, a change in Jungkook's aura. There was a calmness in his expression, a maturity that radiated from the way he sat, stood, and even from the way he held the front of his jacket. He looked like someone who had found a new version of himself, one that wasn't just an idol, but an individual leading his own career. International media outlets began to highlight this phenomenon from various angles. Fashion observers called this campaign one of the biggest visual transformations for a Korean artist in recent years. They praised how the retro concept was combined with modern styles, creating a powerful aesthetic with global appeal. Some said the campaign was a visual statement that Jungkook was no longer just a part of the industry, he was the face of it. On the other hand, ARMY interpreted this appearance in a more emotional way. Many of them had been waiting, hoping, and longing. This photo was proof that even though Jungkook wasn't always in public, he was still there, growing, and working quietly to deliver something extraordinary when the time came. This campaign served as a visual embrace for the many fans who missed him. As the days passed, it wasn't just the photos that went viral, the ARMY's reaction also grew into a phenomenon in its own right. Fan art began to emerge, fan fiction was written based on the music store's concept, retro aesthetic video edits spread across various platforms, and some fans even visited local music stores to recreate similar poses, as a show of appreciation and fandom excitement. But what was most interesting was how this campaign quietly built new expectations. Many felt that this sudden appearance was just the first chapter, a prelude to Jungkook's return to the world stage in a way far bigger than anyone could have imagined. Some called it a silent revival, as without much ado, he had moved an entire global fandom with just a couple of photos. And all of this led to one conclusion that grew stronger by the day. Jungkook's return through the Calvin Klein 2026 campaign was no ordinary surprise.